Before the empires, before the trade routes that crossed vast oceans, before the very idea of a global economy, there was a plant. It grew wild under the canopies of ancient forests, a single leaf among millions. But this leaf held a secret. It held a power that whispered to the soul. For the first peoples of the Americas, this was not just a plant. It was a connection, a conduit between the world of the living and the realm of the spirits. They called it tobacco. And its story is woven into the very fabric of human history, a tale of spirit, of desire, and of consequences that would ripple across the entire globe for centuries to come. Imagine a time when the world was younger, when humanity's relationship with nature was one of deep, intimate understanding. The shaman, the healer, the spiritual leader of the tribe knew the secrets of the earth. They knew which roots could heal a wound, which berries could nourish the body, and which leaves could open the mind. Tobacco was perhaps the most sacred of them all. It was a gift, a tool to speak with the ancestors, to seek guidance from the great spirits, and to bring peace to a troubled heart. Its smoke was not for idle pleasure. It was a prayer, an offering, a visible breath sent to the heavens above. The plant itself seemed to possess a life of its own. It demanded respect. It required careful cultivation and a knowing hand to harvest its potent leaves. The process was a ritual in itself, passed down through generations. Each step, from planting the seed to drying the leaf, was infused with intention and reverence. To misuse it was to invite misfortune, to disrespect the spirits who had gifted it to the people. This was a world where a simple plant could hold the power to unite a community, to seal a peace treaty between warring tribes, or to send a warrior's spirit on its final journey. It was a force of nature, harnessed with wisdom. And so, for thousands of years, the story of tobacco remained a secret, held close by the continents of the Americas. Its smoke rose from countless ceremonial fires, from the Andes Mountains to the Great Plains, carrying the hopes and histories of entire civilizations. It was a constant presence, a silent witness to the rise and fall of great cultures. But the winds of change were coming. Across the vast, uncharted Atlantic, new ships with strange sails were being built. A new kind of explorer was setting a course for the unknown. They were seeking gold, glory, and new lands. They had no idea they were about to stumble upon a leaf that would change the world forever. If you're enjoying this journey through history, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from the past. Your support helps us bring these tales to life. Thank you for watching. In the heart of the Americas, tobacco was the lifeblood of ceremony. It was a bridge, a way to make the intangible tangible. When a council of elders gathered to make a decision that would affect the fate of their people, the pipe was passed. Each person would draw the smoke, a silent oath of truth and shared purpose. The rising plume was a physical manifestation of their collective thoughts, ascending to the creators for blessing. It calmed the mind, focused the spirit, and bonded them together in a moment of profound unity. This was not a habit. It was a sacrament, as vital and meaningful as any ritual in the grand cathedrals of the old world. The medicine man, or shaman, relied on tobacco as a primary tool of his trade. He understood its dual nature. He knew it could be used to purify, to heal, and to see beyond the veil of ordinary perception. When sickness fell upon a village, he might burn the leaves to cleanse the air of malevolent spirits. He might chew the leaves into a poultice to place upon a wound, believing the plant's sacred energy would speed the healing process. In a trance, guided by the smoke, he would journey into the spirit world to diagnose an unseen illness or to retrieve a lost soul. For him, tobacco was a key that unlocked the secrets of both the body and the cosmos. Peace was sealed with tobacco. When two warring tribes, weary of conflict, decided to end the bloodshed, they would meet on neutral ground. The calumet, the sacred peace pipe, would be brought out. Its bowl would be filled with the sacred leaf. Smoking together was an act of profound trust. It was a promise, more binding than any written treaty. Inhaling the same smoke, they were inhaling the same spirit of peace, letting it fill their lungs and their hearts. The ceremony was a declaration that they were now one people, under the watchful eyes of the same Creator. The smoke that mingled in the air above them was a testament to their newfound kinship. Even in death, tobacco played its final solemn role. It was believed to help guide the spirit of the deceased on its long journey to the afterlife. The leaves would be placed with the body as an offering for the journey ahead. The smoke from a final ceremonial fire would carry the community's prayers, helping to light the path for the departed soul. It was a way of saying goodbye, of entrusting their loved one to the care of the spirits. From birth to death, from war to peace, from sickness to health, the whispering leaf was there. It was more than a plant. It was a central character in the epic story of a people. The year is 1492. Christopher Columbus and his crew make landfall in the Caribbean. They are men from a different world, a world of steel, scripture, and monarchy. They encounter the Taino people, who greet them with curiosity and gifts. Among these gifts are dried leaves, which the natives seem to prize highly. The sailors are baffled. These leaves have a strange, pungent aroma. They watch in astonishment as the locals roll them, light one end with fire, and put the other in their mouths, inhaling the smoke. What is this bizarre ritual? To the Europeans, it seems like a strange, almost devilish act of drinking smoke. They discard the leaves, not yet understanding their value. But the encounter was not a singular event. As more explorers, conquerors, and missionaries arrived, they witnessed the same phenomenon again and again across countless different cultures. From the Aztec Empire to the villages of North America, they saw this plant being smoked, chewed, and snuffed. They saw it used in solemn rituals and as a casual pastime. Initially, many viewed it with suspicion, a pagan practice to be stamped out. But human curiosity is a powerful force. A few brave or maybe foolish sailors decided to try it for themselves. They experienced the strange head rush, the calming sensation, the unique flavor. It was unlike anything they knew. Word began to travel back to Europe. Sailors returning from long voyages brought with them not just tales of gold and new lands, but also small pouches of this mysterious dried leaf. They shared it in the taverns and port cities of Spain and Portugal. The practice of smoking, once seen as barbaric, was now a novelty, a curiosity from a world away. Physicians and botanists were intrigued. They named it Nicotiana, after Jean Nicot, a French ambassador who became one of its most ardent promoters. He sent seeds to the French court, claiming the plant had miraculous medicinal properties, capable of curing everything from headaches to cancer. The seeds of wonder had been planted in European soil. The plant, once a sacred secret held by the peoples of an entire continent, was now an object of fascination for scholars, nobles, and kings. It was exotic. It was mysterious. It carried the allure of the New World within its very leaves. They did not understand its spiritual significance. They could not comprehend the millennia of tradition behind it. They saw only a strange and wonderful new sensation, a potential cure-all, and a luxury to be desired. The sacred leaf was on the verge of a profound transformation, about to begin a new journey on a very different path. The fascination quickly turned into a craze. In the courts of Europe, from London to Lisbon, tobacco became the ultimate status symbol. To possess it, to smoke it in a fine clay pipe, was to signal that you were wealthy, worldly, and sophisticated. It was the mark of a modern gentleman. Queen Elizabeth I of England was known to enjoy it. Sir Walter Raleigh was a famous devotee. The demand skyrocketed. What was once a gift freely exchanged in the New World now had a price, and that price was rising fast. Merchants realized that this golden leaf could be as profitable as the gold the explorers had originally sought. The transformation from sacred plant to global commodity was swift and relentless. The focus shifted from its spiritual power to its economic potential. European powers, seeing the immense profits to be made, established vast plantations in their new colonies. Virginia, in North America, became the epicenter of a new tobacco empire. The landscape was cleared, the native forests burned, all to make way for endless fields of the cash crop. The plant, which once grew in harmony with its environment, was now a tool of conquest, driving the expansion of colonial territory deeper and deeper into the continent. This new industry required a massive amount of labor. The work of cultivating tobacco, planting, tending, harvesting, and curing was grueling and relentless. It was back-breaking work under a scorching sun. To fuel this new economic engine, a dark and terrible solution was found. The transatlantic slave trade exploded. Millions of Africans were captured, torn from their homes, and shipped across the ocean in horrific conditions. They were forced into brutal servitude on these tobacco plantations, their suffering and their lives spent to satisfy a growing European craving. The sacred leaf was now stained with the blood and tears of enslaved peoples. The world was now connected by this single plant. Ships laden with cured tobacco crossed the Atlantic to Europe, where it was sold for enormous profits. Those profits were then used to purchase more enslaved people from Africa, who were then transported back to the Americas to produce even more tobacco. This was the infamous triangular trade, a cycle of exploitation and misery with tobacco at its heart. The smoke that rose from the pipes of European nobles was now inextricably linked to the chains of bondage and ocean away. The whispering leaf of the shaman had become the currency of an empire built on human suffering. As tobacco spread, so did its shadow. The initial wonder and medicinal claims began to give way to a more complicated reality. People were no longer just trying it. They were becoming dependent on it. The calming sensation, the ritual of the pipe or the snuff box became a daily necessity. The plant's powerful alkaloid, nicotine, had sunk its hooks deep into the nervous systems of millions. What began as a luxury for the rich became a habit for the masses. Soldiers were given tobacco rations to calm their nerves before battle. Laborers used it to endure the drudgery of their long days. Addiction, a concept not widely understood, was taking hold on a global scale. The rise of mass production cemented this new reality. In the 19th century, the invention of the cigarette rolling machine changed everything. Suddenly, tobacco was cheaper, more accessible, and more convenient than ever before. It was no longer confined to a pipe or a pinch of snuff. It could be carried in a pocket, lit in an instant. Cigarettes were marketed with a new aggressive sophistication. They were portrayed as symbols of glamour, freedom, and rebellion. Advertisements featured dashing movie stars, rugged cowboys, and liberated modern women, all with a cigarette in hand. The sacred leaf was now a mass-produced consumer product. This industrialization of desire came at a terrible cost. The health consequences, once dismissed or unknown, began to emerge from the shadows. Doctors started to notice a frightening rise in lung diseases and cancers among heavy smokers. The very thing that was once hailed as a miracle cure was now being revealed as a slow, insidious poison. Yet the tobacco industry had become a formidable power, a global economic behemoth. It used its immense wealth and influence to fund its own research, to sow doubt about the medical evidence, and to fight regulation at every turn. The truth was buried under a mountain of profit and denial. The chains were no longer just the physical chains of the plantation. They were now invisible, chemical chains, binding millions of people to a lifelong dependency. The ritual of the shaman, intended to open the spirit, had been twisted into a compulsive habit that often ended in sickness and death. The smoke that once carried prayers to the heavens now filled the lungs of addicted individuals, clouding their health and shortening their lives. The plant's power was undeniable, but it was a power that had been corrupted, commercialized, and turned against the very people it captivated. The shadow of the leaf had grown long and dark. Today, as we stand in the year 2026, we live in a world shaped by this one plant. Its story is a mirror, reflecting the best and worst of human history. It reflects our capacity for spiritual reverence and our tendency toward colonial greed. It showcases our genius for global trade and our talent for self-destruction. The journey of tobacco from a sacred shamanic tool to a vilified public health crisis is a cautionary tale. It is the story of how something sacred can be commodified, how a natural wonder can be turned into an instrument of immense suffering, and how a simple desire can be magnified into a global obsession. We now understand the science behind the addiction. We know the devastating toll it takes on human health. Societies around the world are grappling with this legacy, implementing smoking bans, running public health campaigns, and fighting to curb the influence of a powerful industry. Yet the smoke has not cleared. The echoes of its past remain. The vast fortunes built on tobacco still shape our economies. And for millions, the chemical chains forged centuries ago remain unbroken. The plant's hold on humanity, though weakened, endures. It is a ghost from our collective past that we cannot seem to exorcise. And yet we must also remember where the story began. We must remember the respect, the reverence, and the wisdom with which it was first used. In some indigenous communities, the sacred traditions surrounding tobacco continue to this day, a quiet act of cultural preservation. They remind us that the plant itself is not inherently evil. They remind us that the problem was not the leaf, but what we, as a species, did with it. The story of tobacco is not just about the plant. It is about us. It is about our choices, our ambitions, and our enduring vulnerabilities. It asks us a profound question. What other sacred things have we forgotten in our relentless pursuit of progress? The whispering leaf that grew in the ancient forests of the Americas now whispers a final, complex truth. It tells a story of connection and disconnection, of spirit and commerce, of healing and harm. Its smoke, which once carried prayers to the gods, now carries a warning through the ages. A warning about the dangers of taking a gift from the earth and stripping it of its soul, of turning a sacred ritual into a thoughtless habit. The legacy of tobacco is written in our history books, in our economies, and in the very DNA of our modern world. It is a mysterious, powerful, and tragic story that continues to unfold, one breath at a time.